area. You take a look outside right now, and I'm not going to try to do the weather for you, but let's show the view outside. And just beautiful looking at some of these tower cams. See those clouds in the area. It's just a beautiful night, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for everyone who's celebrating Mother's Day as well. Our team of meteorologists have been saying how beautiful it's going to be this weekend. So hopefully get a chance to get out and really enjoy it. You know, and we're in that season of a lot of outside events, and hopefully get a chance to do that. You know, talking about what's been happening with the weather, you know, we talked about some of the storms that have been moving through the area. Just today, when it came to some of the significant storms that were coming through, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 tornado actually touched down. This happening in Gilmer County, and we had our Rachel Aragon out there today talking with some of the officials about this and what this means for that area. Here's a little bit of what she found.
I'm Rachel Aragon in LJ, where cleanup is definitely underway following the damage and debris from Thursday's storms. The National Weather Service team was out here earlier to get a close-up look at the structural damage like this before coming out with their report. Well, Thursday's strong storms knocking down trees and power lines. The storm had triggered power outages, but according to Georgia Power's outage map, power has been restored. The National Weather Team sent a survey team to take a close look at the damage before determining if a tornado swept through. The team will still come out with their final report on the damage. County officials say there were no serious injuries.
That report from Rachel Aragon, who was out in Gilmer County, and as officials really size up the damage out there and what people experience out there, but also you look at some of the damage and what people have gone through and the mess they have to clean up. We're in that season where things are happening. So we'll certainly be checking on that area to see how the damage kind of progresses and how people are picking up for that. Now to just a tragic story that people have been talking about here this week, and that's the death of Xander Watley, an 11-year-old who was shot and killed inside his own home. So many people talking about this. He was supposed to be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. This really impacting a lot of people. And as we've been talking with people about all of this, you know, his killer is still on the run tonight. Again, he was shot and killed inside his own home last week. And tonight his family and friends are remembering Xander outside Rockmart High School in neighboring Polk County. Tonight is the eve, as I mentioned, of what would have been Xander Watley's 12th birthday. But instead of getting celebrated with cake and presents, friends and family released balloons in the sky to honor his life. We show you some video there from his home where investigators have been looking. You know, Xander died there when someone opened fire into his family's Paulding County home. And his stepfather says he was hit while running upstairs for cover. Xander's mother says one of her other sons, Xander's older brother, may have been the intended target after allegedly getting caught up with the wrong crowd. What makes this so much more heartbreaking? Friends and family at the balloon release say Xander was well loved and was a good student who also played soccer, baseball, and football. And how about this? He was only in the 5th grade. He was going to school at Hal Hutchins Elementary School. But what's the most concerning part about this is that his killer is still on the run. Investigators using evidence like this, ballistics as well, to track down his killer. But 11-year-old who should be turning 12 here tomorrow. Just tragic, you know, for people in Paulding County. Now to a cold case that has really been stumping investigators in Athens for a while. The man accused of a decades-old murder case there appeared in court today. This is something that investigators have really been stumped with. It's the case surrounding Tara Baker, which happened more than 20 years ago. What happened, according to Athens Clark County Police, they say the suspect in this case had killed her and then burned down her apartment trying to cover up the crime. Now, our Adam Murphy was there in Athens today talking with investigators, trying to piece together how'd they get to this point with this cold case. Here's what he found.
The motive in this case is still unclear, but here's what I can tell you. Last September, GBI's cold case unit partnered with other law enforcement agencies, including Athens Clark County Police Department, to conduct an in-depth review of the ongoing investigation into Baker's death, and it led to an arrest.
Mr. Faust, you are charged with 9 counts.
48-year-old Edric Lamont Faust made his first court appearance on Friday in a decades-old cold case. He's facing multiple charges, including murder, aggravated sodomy, and arson, in connection with the death of former UGA law student Tara Louise Baker. On January 19, 2001, firefighters found Baker's body after responding to a fire at her Athens apartment in the Deer Park community. The investigation determined that the fire was intentionally set, and investigators spent over 2 decades seeking answers in the case.
I do hope that this gives a lot of families across the state of Georgia hope.
Cameron Jay is a family friend of the Bakers who started a podcast 2 years ago called Classic City Crime.
I'm going to turn it over for a few moments so that you can get a good idea of who Tara Louise Baker was.
His goal was to shed light on Baker's unsolved case.
What I believed was that by telling her story again and getting the public involved and getting law enforcement to realize that there was a movement to see justice and resolution, that we could shake the trees and that something could happen. And what a shock it was when something did happen.
The podcast led to a new state law establishing the GBI cold case unit last year. Soon after, agents arrested and charged Faust with Baker's murder. The Baker family released this statement saying, "Our family is eternally grateful to the cold case unit with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Athens Clark County Police Department, and Federal Bureau of Investigation for their dedication and diligence in bringing us closer to the truth that has eluded us for 23 years.
There's going to be a lot of talk about the person who has now been arrested, but I hope that as we let the criminal justice system do its job, that we will all take a moment and pause to remember Tara and her life.
The GBI director and other law enforcement agencies intend to hold a news briefing on this arrest first thing next week on Monday, right here at the GBI. Indicator, Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
Fascinating case there in Athens, and so still many questions on that. Like, what happened in that time for that suspect who police really have been trying to figure out with some of the evidence in this case. So that's one of the stories we're continuing to work on, and we'll be covering that story here tonight at 10 and 11 here in our newsroom right now. In fact, just wrapped up a meeting where we talk about some of the stories that we're putting together for our 10 and 11 o'clock newscasts, and talking with our reporters about some of the updates. So we will have that and many more stories for you tonight, and I hope you'll join myself. Sean Gable's there tonight at 11 o'clock. But we talk about, and we'll have our meteorologists as well, Fred Campagna and Patrick Pete there, and give you a quick peek. Again, I'm not a meteorologist, I don't play one, but want to do show you the 5-day forecast, because this is something people really focus on because of the nice change. And this weekend I was telling you about how nice it's going to be, but you look at the rest of so as we start the next week, draw your attention to Tuesday and Friday, first alert weather days. So that will be something they talk about here tonight. But thanks for joining us here for this newscast, our streaming newscast, and we hope to see you tonight for our 10, 11 o'clock newscast. Have a good evening.